If you follow us on social media, you know that we use a lot of video marketing to generate awareness for our organization. So I love talking to other people who use the not only social media marketing, but the way that they parlay that with relationships in the community to establish a brand and a presence. And Mallory and Miss Priscilla talk about how those two things can be used together to generate business for their company. Check out this conversation with Mallory and Priscilla. As a leader in a real estate office, right? You've seen a bunch of agents come and go, and I know y'all have a high standard and quality of agents that y'all like to have within your organization. But I think that seasoned agents sometimes get frustrated and title companies get frustrated with agents who do this part-time. But from a training standpoint and how we deal with people who are trying to figure out this real estate business, like how does a realtor or a leader in a real estate organization help manage the training and facilitation of agents who are getting into the business or may just not want to learn and be the best agent they can be?
So it's funny, we have lots of YouTube videos and there's lots of coaching online. So even if you are a nurse and you have different shifts, but you want to have your real estate license, or a teacher. I have one that's a teacher that just started, but she gets off every day by 3:30 or 4. And I leave my office by 3:30 or 4, so I'm not able to teach her, but we have an office expert. We have hands-on training at our office that someone can always meet and set up. But they also have the opportunity to get online and get the coaching from YouTube and from the coaches online, because there are a lot of those that are set up.
Yeah.
I always have told them that it is the hard when you're part-time, but don't give up that paycheck, because you're going to need it until you have a few closings under your belt.
For sure.
So if you can manage it by any way, always try to do it. But the most that you're going to get out of your job is by what you put into it. So to show up and be present, the more you can come. And even if you're working online and with your laptop while you're doing desk at the front in the front office, do it. Just come do it.
Spend time learning.
Spend time around other agents.
Yeah.
You'll hear the other agents talking. I remember Mallory was doing her exit exam, and we had one agent on desk, and then we had
we failed it 7 times, all of us together. I was like, guys,
we had a guy walk in from
pathetic.
From DSLD Homes, and he was helping her with the subdivision questions. We had Fred there with the Central Mortgage helping with that. We had 3 agents on desk. I mean, it was hilarious, and she flunked, and we're like, wait. Do that again. You didn't just flunk that. Do it again.
It wasn't me. I think it was the group flunked it at that point. I was like,
but it is true. I mean, like and I think that too. Like they say, like law school doesn't teach you everything about knowing everything about the law. It teaches you how to think like a lawyer, right? And the same thing with taking the real estate exam. It should teach you how to know where to find the right answers to the question. You need to have some basic knowledge, right? Foundational knowledge about being a real estate. Sure. But a lot of it is understanding where to find the answers to the questions. But I think a great point you made, whether you're an experienced agent or a newer agent, having a team of people that you can lean on is huge, right?
Our office has always been so supportive of each other. It's great. When one agent goes out of town, 2 others say, look, I got your calls for you. Don't you dare answer them. Just forward them to me.
Yeah.
Get your emails sent to me. I'll handle your clients, anything. And open houses, the more experienced agents love to get the newer agents to go in there and do the open houses. And the newer agents are more eager too, because they want to have that opportunity to meet a buyer and work with a buyer. But it's also, there's a lot of stuff just setting up a house. It's not just flipping on lights and putting a sign outside. It's like making a couple of calls, getting Arena to maybe, sponsor it and do a door prize or, a tray of cookies or something, even if it's on a weekend. It's also just a lot, like I was saying, being present. The more that you're at the office, the more that you're around those other agents, you hear the conversations.
Yeah.
You get more opportunity. They know that you're eager. They're not just going to blow you off, and they're going to really try to help you too.
Yeah, and the dynamic of having an office like y'all have had over the years, where you've got somebody in the office that does the insurance, that has the mortgage experience, and inviting the title companies in often is a way for you to get people to pour into everybody. And having the real estate related activities, like people don't realize how valuable it is just to take the step and take action, because you're going to end up running into an issue that you didn't expect. And you get to, especially doing the open houses, you get to practice having real estate conversations with people as they're coming in the door. And there's really a low bar, because it's not like those people, most of the time they'll have an agent or they're just browsing, right, when you do open houses. But at least you get to have the conversations and get the reps.
They always ask like a random question that you're not expecting. And as a new agent, you're like, but it gives you that like experience, and that's all that it is really experience. Is like, the more that you can be around the veteran agents and like follow them around and, sit in the car, go to, showings that they'll let you and stuff. I mean, that's like where
Practice on a Supra box. Even how to, I mean, some of them don't
Yeah.
even know how to open those when they first get licensed. They
Yeah.
don't understand that
I
it's a
was-
code and,
I mean, I've grown up listening to these conversations. So like I automatically kind of, was able to, pick up on that. But I mean, I've had some agents, this is what I kind of, with less experienced or part-time agents, I lately have had a couple of deals and I give them a lot of grace and I never like tell them, I don't really divulge very much about myself and how much experience or little experience or, how busy our afternoon schedule is. I kind of just, give them a lot of grace and I kind of get them, I don't want to say like right where I want them, but I kind of get them right where I want them. And then if, stuff starts to get frustrating in the deal or, negotiations start going south, then I'll start pulling those cards out when I need them.
But you only have one reputation. And that's what I've told Mallory and my agents. Don't mess that reputation up. Don't do
Keep
something
it
that's
sweet
going
and
to
great. Like give them grace.
screw
and
you up
keep 'em
because
sweet.
that's going to stick with you for life. There's agents that I did deals with 15 years ago, and maybe they have changed, but I know those deals that I did with them were awful, and I would never want to do anything with them ever again. And your reputation is everything. And agents talk, and our office talks. We will talk at a sales meeting. We won't say the name, but we'll say exactly what happened, and we'll say, "Look, if you need, just need anything further, come tell me about it or something." But they talk. So your reputation is everything. So you want to be the agent that they come back and they want to work with.
Yeah.
You want to, when they pull up the MLS and they say, "Oh wow, Mallory Gorley's got that listing. That's amazing. I loved working that deal with her. I've heard so, I can't wait to do another deal with her or something." But yeah.
No, I think it's great. And let's talk about also the value of being on a team as an agent, right? I know your family's doing this for a long time, but you're on the Chip and Herbert's real estate team, the Herbert
Chip Gardner and Herbert Dupason
group. There you go. But and look, these guys,
Mississippi and Louisiana.
Yes, duly licensed the entire team.
and similar to your family, these guys have been in this business, not only them personally, but living it through their family like they have. How valuable is it for a newer agent, just having your license for 2 years, to have people like them that you can lean on and mentor you?
That's like, I think what kind of made my transition from an individual agent to a team so easy. I mean, the first time we ever sat down and talked to them, the first thing they said was, well, we know how working with our family can be. And Mom and I get along great, but every once in a while, like we'll send a text message or say something and we'll get flustered and like frustrated with each other. and we might stay mad at each other for like 2 hours, but it usually resolves, with the text message, like, "I'm sorry, I was being sassy," or
Like walking in when I told you to fix your makeup.
Yeah. And then I like fired back, "Well, your hair." But the team support is great. I mean, I've learned, I guess, like I told my mom I told another agent the other day, I was working a deal and I told her, I said, my mom kind of had this approach of like, it was almost like a buyer, like the client-led relationship, like whatever they wanted, whatever they needed, she was always available. If they wanted to see 50 houses, she was always there. If they wanted to pull out of a contract, she didn't try and show them, I mean, it's both sides to an extent, but she would never like push, or it was very client-led.
Yeah.
Where with Chip and Herbert, it is, and it's their
They set more
entire
boundaries.
Yeah, they do. So it's kind of nice getting to like learn both ways and kind of have this like hybrid approach to clients. And I mean, it's been great. I've really enjoyed. I always kind of say they're like, my big brothers. Like I call them, and they're we have a great personal and working relationship, and it's we're all very respectful of each other, and they've been huge in helping me grow.
Yeah, I will always tell people about Chip Herbert and my experience with him whenever I say Chip Herbert, Chip Gardner. When I went with him to the Gardner office before Ladder and Bloom had bought Gardner, and we were in the Mississippi office, and this lady walked up to him and was telling him a story, and Chip immediately stopped and started praying for her in that situation. And like that'll always stick to me. Like to have a family culture of not only generationally being able to keep that value system in line, but for him to be able to have that impact on people, I think it was a big deal. And that says a lot about him. And I know, y'all's faith is important to your family too. So it's pretty cool to see that. And I knew whenever you were talking to me about whether you should that opportunity was gonna be a good one for you, I knew that it was gonna be a good at least if it's not a long-term opportunity for you, an opportunity for you to really learn.
Yeah.
And
well, and I think too, having this like generational real estate background, like Chip, Herbert, and I all learned from like our parents and grandparents. Like we were held to a different standard. I mean, that's how you were brought up. It's not just like, oh, I started this new career and like this is how everybody, like this is some new office and this is how things are going these days. Like we all kind of had that instilled at such an early age that like those standards are high. And so like, of course, like if that doesn't surprise me that Chip's, stop and praying for somebody, or, that Herbert's taking a call from somebody that needs help. Like it's, that's just how we were taught, and how like multi-generation, business.
And they all tie together with, Herbert was, raised in Mississippi, Bay St. Louis. Mallory would spend her summers over there. My parents had a summer home over there.
Yeah.
That we would stay there. And then in New Orleans too, and it's just, they're all kind of interlocked together. So they represent it well. And they do a great job with the commercial too.
Yeah, which is, it was great seeing Herbert at our CE event for the residential agents on Thursday, and then coming to the commercial event on Friday, because they touch both sides of it, which is not.
Yeah, they do a lot.
Yeah, it's not typical around here. But I want to make one more point about the client-led relationship and the boundaries that can be set. There's something to the client experience by letting the client lead and being sensitive to what they want, but also clients also find value, and they might not know it, and having the structure and boundaries around doing business. And I believe in a little bit of both in the way that you do business. I mean, we're going to constantly listen to what our clients want and need, and we change our process up to not to meet one person's needs, but we look at the situation and say, can this new process that we can establish with this client also help all the other clients? And we do that every week. And so we are thinking about how we can service the clients and let them kind of lead how our processes develop, but also are very intentional about letting them know what our boundaries are too, so that we're not going to be
for the respect.
For changing everybody. And the clients appreciate it. They want to know, like, okay, what is the process and structure you're going to have developed for this deal? And then, hey, I have feedback on how you can change that, right? And so you can change the process a little bit to make sure that you can accommodate everybody really well and take everybody's opinions or needs into consideration.
One of my agents even says, my hours are 9 to 4 every day, but I can be, and after that it's by appointment only.
Nice.
So it's and that's Monday through Saturday, but other than that it's appointment only, and she never has any kickback with that.
It's Courtney, and I wish I could have hung out with Courtney. She's usually doing this. She had to be out of town today with me, but she always says that it's conversational leadership and expectations. Like it's our job as service providers to give the expectations and be clear about that. And that's how we can be leaders in the way that we deal with our clients. And if we can do that at a high level, our clients are going to be happy, and they're not going to be stressed out. It's even in a stressful situation. And I think that's something that a newer agent or an agent who's not doing this for very long can learn from. It's being intentional about expectations and boundaries and communication, so that people know what they're going to get, and that they're not constantly learning something new about the transaction every step of the way.
Yeah, I feel like recently I've been hearing a lot of like, real estate agents, you have to answer your phone, you have to answer your phone, you have to answer your phone. You wait 2 hours to call a client back and you've missed that opportunity, or you're not going to get that listing. And I mean, obviously you don't want to wait, longer than you need to.
Wait 2 hours.
But sometimes, I also feel like especially if it's like an afternoon, my expectation for my clients is that, like, yes, I might shoot you a text and say, like, I will call you back at 5. I'm tied up, or, but you can't always be, available 24/7. You have to have.
And mine's a little different because that's what I've taken on as I want to be there for the agents who have the questions when they're waiting to get back. So mine's a little different.
I'm like you.
I don't respect it for her. I call her at 10 p.m. and I'm like, what do I do? Help.
I do this. I'm similar.
On vacation, I answer my phone all the time, but it's a known that's just what I'll do.
I think that, but you have the business that expectation you're giving yourself, or the what you're doing is something that you're comfortable with doing, right?
Well, I feel like that the agent, if they're calling me and they know that I'm out of town, especially, then they're calling me because they've really got a question, and maybe the client is sitting right there and they need an answer right away.
Yeah.
So if I can answer the phone,
you will.
What's the purpose of not?
Yeah.
Right. It's so, which I do, and I answer the phone, or if I can't, I'll say I'll call you back in 15 minutes. And even if I'm at mass, I'll sit there and I'll type in on my watch mass, and they'll know,
They'll know,
like,
yeah.
and just so that because I don't want to wait the extra 45 minutes of hanging them there.
For sure.
So.
And I totally get that. My thing is similar to yours. I try to do that, but I try to delegate all the other stuff off my plate so that my team doesn't have to be the one that's always putting out fires, for lack of a better way of saying it. But I don't have the other things that may get in the way of that, typically speaking.